Good morning, guys, and welcome back to iPhone Smart. Finished off very lovely yesterday with a lovely 12 to 1 winner in Lily Loves Lace and a couple of other very nice runners. So let's see if we can carry on with the good run. We've made another 10 points profit on our Telegram group. Our Telegram group is 300 Rand a month. If we don't make 50 points profit, then we give you 150 back or 50% discount on the new month. And we started it 3 months ago. We are now on 314.65 points, and February so far 59.8 points in profit. So let's start off with the first. I think Dancing Arabian, All Aglow, and Ocean's Pride is my three most probable. If I look at the greenie, then I've got a bit of a question mark about two things. The one is All Aglow and Dancing Arabian did run against each other on the 27th of December. All Aglow was fourth, carrying 60 kilos, 4 lengths behind the winner. Dancing Arabian was 14th, 15 lengths behind the winner. So on that run, there's 11 lengths behind the two. The difference being that Dancing Arabian was at 25 to 1, drifted to 33 to 1. All Aglow was at 44 to 1, drifted to 75 to 1. So the market was actually expecting more from Dancing Arabian. On top of that, the market was expecting more from Dancing Arabian with Nyawu taking the ride, and today Randall Simons is taking the ride. The other thing about Dancing Arabian is that he has sort of proved that he can go to 1600 meters by doing a 1450 in a bat figure of 9.77, and since that run he's had two subsequent runs with Randall Simons over 1000 meters and over a 1450, and they both went better, as you can see on the adjusted times. So I think Dancing Arabian is maybe going to be closer to All Aglow today. The third one that I looked at is Ocean's Pride. Now, looking at Ocean's Pride, seems to be improving a little bit, and the 1600 Vaal Classic exact course and distance, he was third with a K Fisher riding, and that was a decent run considering he's then done a 1200, a 1400, 1450, and another 1450, and the 28th of the first he was 3.4 lengths behind the winner, with Wai Chong Mawing taking the ride, and that was probably his best ride, and Wai Chong Mawing is back to take the ride today. So a little bit of intent there. He did beat a couple of other runners in the race before, such as he beat Riveting on the 19th of January on the 1400 Vaal. He was 7 lengths behind the winner with Brown riding on 60 kilos, and Riveting was on the same day 11 lengths behind the winner with Kumalo taking the ride. So on that, Ocean's Pride should be better than Riveting. Now Nathan Klink's taking the ride, and Wai Chong Mawing's taking the ride on Ocean's Pride. He does have a bit of a draw to overcome, but yeah, that being said, I think he's going to be trying. Then the Magna Alternative, Crusade to Royalty. The interesting part for me here is on the 28th of Jan, both Dancing Arabian and Crusade to Royalty ran in the same race for 1450. Schwartz was the rider and Simons was the rider. Crusade to Royalty was 3 to 1 opening betting, drifted to 55, so clearly he was not trying that day. But the fact that he opened at 3 to 1 is quite a bit. And the same day, Simons was on 30 to 1 and backed into 12 to 1. So you could see who they will be trying with that day. So it will be interesting to see which one of those two gets the support today. Moving to the second race and the start of the Bipod, and yeah, I think 2, 1, and 5 is enough for the Bipod. Janssen van Vieren might be on a double here, starting his double with Monterio, or Alec Laird could be on the double Imperial Duke after all aglow. So that's a bit of interesting information to look at. So I'm not even going to bother about anything else in this race. I don't think there's anything else. I think actually Manteria and Imperial Duke is really the two that can fight for first place. And something that's very interesting that I caught my eye is the improvement over the bat figures from Turffontein to Vaal, which which I've seen quite a consistent form of. Now, for me, Monterio is having his first run on the Vaal, and he's had a 8 and a 13 Turffontein bat figure, and if you compare that 1600 Turffontein bat figures of 8 and 13 to Imperial Duke's 1600 bat figure of 19, then you can see who's ahead. On top of that, Imperial Duke now carries 1 kilo more, and Ontario also carries the 1 kilo more. The adjusted times on those 2 days, 62.84, 8 lengths behind the winner, versus Monterio 61.86 and 62.04. So yeah, you can see I'm slightly leaning towards Monterio here, followed by Imperial Duke. And on that 19th of January run, where Nusply was behind Imperial Duke, 3.3 lengths to 0.9 lengths. There's no change in well, there's 1 kilo more for Imperial Duke to carry, but the 3.5 was a 0.9. You should have the slight edge over Nusply. So I think those three are the three to consider in this race. Moving to the third race, and the third race, I'm going to go with Janssen van Vuren again, Mohican as a very decent option. And the other option is Birdwatcher, Brett Warren's only runner for Pier stratum. Now, you can see the example I was just showing. Turffontein 22 bat moved to a 7 bat. So quite a bit of improvement for Janssen van Vuren, moving from Turffontein to Vaal 22 to 7. If you do the same math on that 15 lengths here on Monterio, then you'll see the 15 lengths better is a -7, so that is clearly better than Imperial Duke. So just something I saw. So Birdwatcher and Mohican for me in this race. Birdwatcher's 1600 Vaal Classic 62.34, carrying 60 kilos, is pretty decent considering he's carried 5.5 kilos less today. The other thing about Birdwatcher that I'm just trying to think what something else I actually saw on Birdwatcher. Okay, Pier stratum on Birdwatcher, fourth, first, third, and third. So clearly very decent. And over the 1600 Vaal, 60 bat figure carrying 60, 60 adjusted time carrying 60, and 60 adjusted time carrying 58. Versus Mohican, 60 carrying 60, now also going down to 58, and 61 carrying 55, going up to 58. The bat figures are very similar, 5.85, 9.8, 7.05 as far as the improvement is going. So personally, I'm going to say Birdwatcher and Mohican is the two runners for me. I'm hoping for the double for Mohican. Maybe a few roughies that I have looked at is Contrail. Well, that's actually the only roughie I was looking at is Contrail. And maybe another one to consider is Soma Sonic. So in the Bipod here, I have gone 3 and 7. It should be enough. But in the bigger pool, or maybe 3, 7, 1, but in the bigger pool also the 5, the 8, and the 2. In the fourth race, another interesting runner for me here is Smiley River. So it's quite an open race. The 2,400 in the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, the long distance are all very tricky. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much about this. I've ended up with Smiley River as my first choice. Cash time, brand new Cadillac, set the standard and don't look back. Those five, I think, all has very decent chances to win this race. Um, I think I'm only going to take those five. In the fifth race, yeah, obviously Robbie Sage has two runners in the race, and it's the only race he has entered, so that must say a bit. So both She's a Cracker and Cool Baikal pops up in the ratings. Of the two, I prefer She's a Cracker, but Gavin Arena and Cool Baikal can't be underestimated. And then Plumfield, for me, is a definite runner with that kind of weight, 49 kilos on his back only. Console Queen with Shimanga Kumalo is a bit of a roughie for me here. And Liverpool legend, Lyle Hewitson and St. John Gray, it's probably their best chance for the day. And then another roughie is Passing Storm, Stuart Pettigrew. And maybe So Long Spring, but yeah, it's a tough race to get past. I ended up with She's a Cracker, Plumfield, Console Queen, Liverpool Legend, and then the others I've mentioned. Race 6, yeah, probably the toughest race in the field for me. Fort Anne, my first choice. Travelling Wilbury, my second choice. Curvation, my third choice. Jacko Boy, my fourth choice. Lady Amherst, my fifth choice. Ocean Forest, my sixth choice. Magical Flight could either be first or seventh choice. And Irish Wonder Girl, Gavin Van Sel's only runner with Warren Kennedy, has to go into the mix as well. So, yeah, I've gone 4, 11, 3, and 7. Fort Anne, Travelling Wilbury, Magical Flight, and Lady Amherst in my bipod. But yeah, I have respect for Curvation, for Jacko Boy, for Irish Wonder Girl, for quite a few of them. Race 7, I'm going to go with my value bet here, and that is Burnt Jasper. And then Ushaya, the Sean Terry runner, maybe that with Magical Flight could be a potential double for Terry, or have a go Joe with Magical Flight. So one of the Terry runners with Magical Flight could be. But I ended up with Burnt Jasper and Parmesan's Pride. Burnt Jasper at 20 to 1, interesting runner for me, and I'm quickly going to tell you why. It's just they both ran on the 26th of Jan in different races over 1800 Vaal Classic. So Burnt Jasper was carrying 53.5, today he carries 51, so he's 2.5 down. Parmesan's Pride was carrying 58, he's still carrying 58. So Burnt Jasper has a 2.5 kilo on Parmesan's Pride. And on that run, on the same day, Parmesan's Pride ran a 60.73 adjusted time, and Burnt Jasper ran a 60.33 adjusted time. So a better adjusted time, and he now gets an additional 2.5 kilos off. The bat figures due to the merit rating of 73, merit rating of 78, and the previous averages on the merit ratings suggests that Parmesan's Pride should win. But Burnt Jasper at 20 to 1 is not a bad little addition. And then Ushaya made a huge improvement over the maiden plate from Turffontein to Vaal. Again, that 14, 12, 15 lengths from Turffontein over to Vaal, 13 to 1.75. And now he has 2.5 kilos extra, only 52 kilos he's carrying, and a 60.8 adjusted time is decent considering he carried 59 kilos and he carries 7 less today. So that means he is a bit of a runner at 8 to 1. And of course, Sean Terry and Lyle Hewitson should be the stable elect, so he should have a chance on that as well. But given the 60.8 adjusted time is better than the Have a Go Joe's adjusted time, and Have a Go Joe has to carry 60 kilos today. Suggests that Ushaya is definitely in with a chance as well. You can see the bat figures 9.7 versus the 1.75. Afraad's also a bit of a roughie here for me, but yeah, that's the way I see it. FS Squadron, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised, but given what I've seen here as far as going backwards, and Kamalo lost interest. Now Callum Murray's taking the ride. I'm going to skip FS Squadron based on that, and Kamalo's going to Parmesan's Pride. So maybe the double for Parmesan's Pride with Alec Laird, and then also the very, very last race for Alec Laird, Pecan Pie. But Burnt Jasper has a bit of a shot here for me, and Ushaya and Have a Go Joe as well. In the 8th race, I make this the best bet on the card for me, and it's at 8-1, Suited Connector. But Alec Laird and Prince Evlenov, and also Fanny Bronkhorst on Herzog, with some very interesting hidden bat figures here. And also Forever Light with Marco van Rensburg and some hidden bat figures here. And Silver Master with Baron Boertes' only other ride. And Roy Magner, if Dancing Arabian wins with short stop. A few things can happen here. So you either bank a Suited Connector, and I'm going to show why I think Suited Connector is my banker here. The 1450 Vaal Classic first with Craig Zaki riding a 59.63. Now if I look around on a 59.63 for a 1450, obviously Prince Evlenov, if we take that same 15 lengths change from Turffontein to Vaal, then this 9 minus goes to a -6, but these 15s, 19s, 24s and 35s goes to more than the 0.7 that Suited Connector has. So it seems as if Prince Evlenov was going the wrong way and now has been rested for 165 days. But he does bring back Kumalo, and that in itself, with all this betting support, suggests that he can be way better today. But let's look at Suited Connector for a moment. That 59.63 over the 1450, if I take the 60 kilos that he was carrying in yielding conditions, today he's carrying 57 and he's not in yielding conditions, and I compare that to anything else in this race for that matter, then you can see why Suited Connector's bat figure is so good. 0.7. Forever Light's best was at 1200, 4.2, but when he went up to the 1400 he went 17 and 19, so I can't trust him over the extra distance. And then Silver Master has a shot on that 10, but that's still 9 worse than Suited Connector. And then Shortstop has a chance on that 12 and that 8, but 8 the best over the 1400 meters. Suited Connector is still better than that. And then the interesting one here for me is the Herzog. Was quite a bit better earlier, and now he's only carrying 51 kilos, so maybe that's going to help him over the 1400 meters. If he can do that, 0.24, he had a run on his return over the 1500 meter. He could have not been trying, but he's in yielding conditions. It was decent 62 because he's now carrying 9 kilos left. So Herzog is not without a shot at 33-1 for me, maybe a play stop 4 even. And Funky Music, I have to say, does have a little bit of a say on this 12.2 on the yielding, with the 61 now carrying a lovely 5.5 less, and Calvin Habib taking the ride, coming back. So Funky Music at 20-1 can't be discounted in race. So it's either Suited Connector Banker or Suited Connector and Prince Evlenov, or Suited Connector Prince Evlenov, Herzog, Forever Light, Silver Master, Shortstop, Funky Music. That's how I see it. And then in the lucky last, yeah, I could be that Ashley Fortune with Funky Music could come through with Un Deux Trois. Pecan Pie I quite like as well, with Parmesan's Pride as the double. So they say could also be much improved today, with Suited Connector as the double, and then Entente maybe slight chance, but I'm going to go with Un Deux Trois, Pecan Pie, So They Say, Royal Lily, Entente, and then an interesting runner for me is Crime Scene. maybe $50 on Prime Scene is not a bad idea. If I look at his 1450 form, pretty decent 1450 year, 60 kilos with a 60-25 on a 16 bat. That brings him right into the mix here. Only ran a verdikte Vos, and he did have Greiling on him the previous time just to give him a bit of a feel for the horse. He obviously didn't show nothing. It was 70, 47, 69, 30, 29. The last time he did show anything was in the 1450 Vaal Classic, and where he's back today is a 1450 Vaal Classic. So that means to me that there could be some improvement from Crime Scene today. That's it for me, guys. Yeah. So what do I like? Suitor Connector is my first choice today. My best bet yesterday did win, and the other one ran a place, my second best. Burnt Jasper is my value bet for today. This the 4, 5, and 6. I'm just going to leave out. Put many. Or Smiley River could be a bit of a place prospect for me. Race 3, Birdwatcher and Mohican. I'm leaning towards Mohican for the double with Monterio. If Monterio doesn't win this, then Imperial Duke for the double with All Aglow. But Dancing Arabian could be All Aglow could not like the distance, which means Dancing Arabian could then be Firing and Ocean's Pride in third. That's it from me, guys. Have a great day.